Now, watch what happens when you apply that same template to three ancient monastic constraint practices: fasting, constraining consumption. In virtually every contemplative tradition, Christian, Islamic, Hindu, Buddhist, Jewish, fasting is a foundational practice. The usual explanations focus on willpower, spiritual discipline, or purification. But through the lens of competitive plasticity, fasting is doing something far more specific. Modern eating in industrialized society is dominated by the hedonic reward circuit. Hyperpalatable foods, constant availability, dopaminergic reinforcement, delta phosphate accumulation from repeated overconsumption. The circuit is dominant. It's well practiced. It outcompetes the entero circuits that register genuine hunger, satiety, and the subtle signaling between gut and brain. Fasting constrains the dominant circuit. When you remove the option of eating, the hedonic reward circuit can't fire. And in its absence, suppressed circuits, interoceptive awareness, metabolic sensitivity, the gut-brain axis that has been drowned out by constant feeding, have space to activate. Monastic fasting isn't punishing the body. It's performing CI therapy on the reward system. Silence. Constraining speech. Monastic silence, the great silence after Compline, the extended silent retreats of Zen and Vipassana, the Carthusian commitment to near total silence, constrains the dominant verbal social circuit. In daily life, language and social communication dominate cortical processing. We talk, text, respond, narrate, explain, almost continuously. The verbal analytical circuits of the left hemisphere and the social monitoring circuits are perpetually active, and through competitive plasticity, they suppress other modes of awareness: somatic sensation, spatial awareness, emotional processing through the body rather than through narrative, and the kind of open, receptive awareness that contemplatives call presence, or witness consciousness. Silence constrains the dominant verbal circuit. In its absence, the suppressed modes of awareness, somatic, spatial, contemplative, have cortical space to expand. This isn't metaphor. Research on long-term meditators show measurable increases in cortical thickness in brain regions associated with interoception, attention, and sensory processing. The silence doesn't add these capacities. It removes the competition that was suppressing them. Enclosure, constraining movement. Monastic enclosure, the practice of remaining within a defined physical space, whether a monastery, a hermitage, or a meditation cell, constrains the novelty circuit. The modern environment provides near unlimited novelty: new locations, new stimuli, new experiences, new information. The dopaminergic novelty circuit is perpetually fed, and through competitive plasticity, it suppresses the circuits for deep engagement with what's already present, the capacity for sustained attention, for finding richness and repetition, for the kind of contemplative depth that requires staying in one place long enough for the surface-level processing to exhaust itself. Enclosure removes the novelty option. Within a fixed space, the brain can't seek stimulation through environmental change. The novelty circuit quiets, and the circuits for deep presence, sustained observation, and external exploration, starved by the constant feeding of novelty, finally have space to activate. The pattern. Do you see the pattern? In every case, CI therapy, fasting, silence, enclosure, the intervention is the same. Identify the dominant, maladaptive, or overactive circuit, constrain it through strategic deprivation, and create conditions for the suppressed circuit to activate through the absence of competition. This is not willpower. This is not self-punishment. This is applied neuroplasticity. It's the same principle that Taub discovered in his monkeys, working at the level of the whole nervous system instead of a single limb. And what makes the synthesis so powerful is that the monastic traditions arrived at the correct intervention through centuries of contemplative experimentation, without any knowledge of cortical maps, delta phosphate, or competitive plasticity. They observed the effects. They refined the protocols. They transmitted them across generations. And modern neuroscience, coming from the completely opposite direction, from molecular biology and brain imaging, arrived at the same structural principle. Strategic deprivation drives neuroplastic reorganization. That's the finding. And it's as true in a rehabilitation clinic in Alabama as it is in a Carthusian monastery in the French Alps.